Hey folks, I'm Jake Davis, and today I'm bringing you my picks for the top 5 greatest horror movies of all time. 5. The Reanimator. Released in 1985, directed by Stuart Gordon and starring Jeffrey Combs. This film is about med students who play God and try to resurrect the dead. The character of Herbert West is insanely memorable and insanely charismatic villain, but he's not even the film's main villain. If you can get a hold of the R-rated version, that is specifically the version I'm talking about. The non-rated version, while still a good movie, cuts out many important character moments for the sake of more gore. I don't know why they couldn't just include the gore and the story, but there you go. Number 4 is Psycho, directed by Alfred Hitchcock and starring Anthony Perkins and Janet Leigh. This was released in 1916, kind of set the world on fire. Hitchcock and Leigh both received Oscar nominations for their work, and this story is about a woman who goes to a hotel or motel in the middle of nowhere after robbing her boss, and she runs into a young man who, let's just say, it's a mama's boy. I don't want to give spoilers for any of these movies right here, but Psycho is a compelling, shocking, and just atmospheric film. It was revolutionary, and there is no exaggeration of that phrase whatsoever. Number 3 is Frankenstein, directed by James Whale, 1931, the same year as Bela Lugosi's Dracula. Now, I've always loved Frankenstein. It's brilliant, it's terrifying. It stars Boris Karloff and Colin Clive. It's you know the story of Frankenstein. A man plays God, sews corpses together, and creates a brand new life, immediately abandoning it to the elements, where its own rage and madness and hate and brilliance fuels it for vengeance. All the versions of Frankenstein, they've never topped the atmosphere, the style, the fucking tension, and the performances or the makeup of the 1931. It is the essential Frankenstein. Number 2, Night of the Living Dead. Night of the Living Dead changed how people thought of zombies altogether. It's directed by George Romero, 1968, and it stars Dwayne Jones. A lot of people look into the social commentary of this film that is basically just about a bunch of people stuck at a random farmhouse while the zombie invasion slowly takes over the nation. Didn't mean for that to rhyme. Anyhow, oh god, there's nothing I can say about this movie that hasn't already been said about it. A lot of people say Dawn of the Dead is better, but I personally think Dawn of the Dead is a little long and a little pretentious, where Night of the Living Dead is just as long and just as violent and just as meticulous as it needs to be. It went too far with Dawn of the Dead. Now, that's not a great movie. It is a great movie, but I've always preferred Night of the Living Dead. And my number one all-time favorite horror film is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. 1974, directed by Tobe Hooper, starring Gunnar Hansen and Marilyn Burns. Excuse me. This film, I don't understand how it didn't drive people insane when it came out. It is sheer insanity and panic in a cinematic incarnation. I can't imagine a more fly-on-the-wall, more edge-of-your-seat experience than this movie. I've seen it many, many times over the years. It never gets dull. It never gets stale. I can't say more. I can't say enough about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Of course, the premise of it is 5 youths, while randomly visiting some old family home on the way to somewhere else that we never really know. Never really know what their whole mission is. Just they come across this place, they get stranded, and they run into Leatherface and his family. A lot of people speculate that they're cannibals, and this is certainly made clear in the sequel. This didn't seem to be the case in the first one. It's just speculation. But like I said, the terror, the atmosphere, Tobe Hooper's use of the camera and use of sound in this film is incomparable. Like I said, that's my all-time favorite horror film. I just wanted to get this out real quick. I was thinking about doing it at work today. I used to do top 10 videos on Facebook. So why don't I do top 5s on YouTube and Facebook, my videos. So just rattle these off real quick for you. I hope it didn't go too long. Hope I didn't stutter too much. Because I didn't prepare or write nothing about this. These are my 5 favorites. A couple of honorable mentions. I'll say last year's It. The Babadook, Martin, another George A. Romero film, Halloween, Scream, and Phantasm are some more of my all-time favorites. I'd probably even go and ahead and throw the original Universal Wolfman in there too. I've always loved that. So those are my favorite horror movies. I wanted to get out there in time for Halloween. Hope you've seen them all, and if you ain't, check out a few, because they're good. They're the greatest horrors. I know a lot of people are going to say Alien, Nightmare on Elm Street. They're good. They're okay, but they ain't as good horror movies as these other movies over here. So, that's it. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy. Hope you check out my suggestions. I'm Jake Davis, and I'll catch you on the fly.